everyone, welcome back to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm Sarah.
And I'm James.
And today, we're going to be talking about Last Love. James, you feeling old today? How you doing?
No. The opposite,
No?
probably.
You
right?
feeling
Like
young
watching this
compared
show.
to our... Yeah, exactly.
I did have a moment watching this where I was like, they pretty hard sell how attractive these people are on the show in a way that is like, oh, I guess like I could be attractive when I'm in my 50s. Let's go.
Okay.
That's how I felt about it
You
overall.
didn't think it was previously possible? Okay.
No, but
Or
you
just
know,
reinforced.
give a little
Okay.
boost of confidence. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, we did not know what we were watching last time we recorded, and we watched. Well, what is Last Love? It is a Korean reality dating show, but they say it's for seniors, but really nobody is over 65. And I looked it up, and that is what is considered a senior citizen in Korea. So it's people in their 50s dating, basically.
Senior citizens are 50s and above in Korea?
No, 65.
Oh,
I looked it
65.
up because I was like, I didn't think 50s was senior citizens, but
That's pretty much the same as US, right?
Yeah, I think so. But regardless, not the normal people on dating shows we're used to seeing. So
it's interesting to see the differences in this, or lack thereof, potentially.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, what have you been watching?
I've only watched a bit more of The Anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who listen to that, my winner pick, not so hot of a pick. If you watch like few episodes more.
Mm-hmm.
We got one comment from Interregnum who picked the plant seedling emoji, which is a great emoji as your icon, but I would not be able to pick it because I'm pretty sure it's like a vegan symbol,
they'd be able to
right?
piece that together, yeah. And you couldn't exactly hide that you were a vegan in the house where people will see what you eat, so.
Yeah, you could, but
it'd be tough.
It wouldn't be worth it, no. Yeah. And then Interregnum, also, I have not been keeping track, but they pointed out that Singles Inferno 4 won't premiere until January 2025, so it seems like it's like a
little
month
later,
delayed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we're covering that, right?
Yeah. I think we always intended to.
Yeah.
Even though last season, maybe was a little less than favorite, but
yeah, I still remember the pains of Singles Inferno 3, but I'm excited to start a new one. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it could be. I'm going into it like pretty skeptical of the direction that the show is taking based off of season 3. But
hey, at the very least, they won't bring that same guy back again, right? They can't. They won't. It's fine.
They'd never bring somebody back. I mean, if they bring him back for season 4 in any capacity, what if he's just a
what if he's a host?
What if he's just a host? If he's just a host, I can probably be okay.
I could probably tolerate
it. If they bring him back as a participant in the TV show, I think I'm out. I'll be honest. I think
especially because like he left with someone before, so like
yeah, I'm out.
That's not the best if he comes back to play again.
Yeah, I don't know like from a Korean perspective, like how the ratings of that like was season 3 the highest rated season of the 3? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I fear that they are going to go even harder in the direction that they went with season 3, but we'll find out.
We'll find out. Yep. Hey, maybe they'll take some of our suggestions. Which
what did we say? I was just thinking about that. We had an amazing suggestion. We should go back and find that before.
I think it was something about like you go to paradise and when you come back, everybody who didn't go is on a different island and you just don't know about it. There's like Secret Loser Island or something.
Yeah. And then there's something about like if you go, like if you keep swapping back and forth between the islands. So you're like whenever you don't go to paradise, you go back to Reject Island. And you're like forced to have to try to pair with somebody that's not the person you were trying to pair with before.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. It was something. Yeah, something like that. It was a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Other than that, I've really mostly been watching like D&D content.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
That's a lot of what I watch too.
Yeah, it's not something it's like really recommendable. I've gotten into the Tomb Raider animated series that just came out on Netflix, but I haven't watched enough of it to be like, oh, it's great. But I just like the vibes of it. It's like animated. Feels a little like DC comic plus Legend of Korra vibes. So
Nice.
it's just good vibes so far, but I can't tell you like, oh, it's an amazing story. But
Yeah. I like that you feel you have this bar to reach where I'm like, I watch this thing, it's terrible, never watch it. I don't have a problem with that.
also watch Agatha. Agatha is great. Agatha
Oh
all
yeah,
along.
yeah.
It's still
And
going, still
like
great.
even though your description of what it was supposed to be was like wrong, like it's becoming closer to you were right about some things, like
Kind of, yeah. The main thing
yeah.
I got wrong is I thought it was like an origin story because I totally forgot how WandaVision ended. No,
Mhm.
I thought it was like a prequel to WandaVision, but it's like no, it's very much a sequel to WandaVision. So that was the
Yeah,
main
yeah.
thing I got wrong.
Mhm.
All right, what have you been watching?
Well, I've also been watching Agatha. It's great. But it as of recording, it is still spooky season, and every year with my brother we have a spooky movie marathon. And so this past weekend we watched The Watchers, Salem's Lot, and Late Night with the Devil, and they were all kind of okay. Nothing too exciting to write
Nice.
home about.
You want to watch some
Not
super okay spooky content?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
I
you
mean,
watch.
it was all right. It's not too spooky because I always got to ride the line. I can't go too spooky. But they were spooky enough, but nothing really, I don't know, sparked a whole lot of joy with me. But there we go. That's what I got. But
All
what I'm
right.
looking forward to is kind of a long way off because I don't know when it's coming out. But if you recall, The Traders, which we talked about and liked a little while ago,
Mm-hmm.
the U.S. version isn't even the original version. It came from what was it, British version, and they've
UK.
made a bunch of other versions now.
Yeah.
I read an article that they're going to make a Korean version,
Oh,
so
see.
that sounds fun. I'm curious about who's going to be on it. And I wonder if like how the voting people off dynamics will change. I don't think we watched a Korean show where people vote other people off. So I don't know if there's a different cultural approach to that or
Not
not, and I'm
directly.
interested to
Even the
find out.
traders. Oh no, the trader they do banish people to vote off. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just agreed to make it, so it's not like they've even filmed or anything yet, so it's a long while off. But I'm looking forward to it anyway.
There you go. Well, U.S. traders, which you also may or
Mm-hmm.
may not be looking forward to. I think it's January.
Okay,
It's
nice,
been
nice.
January in the past. U.S.
Looking forward to
Traders season 3 premiere sometime between January and March. Okay, good.
that.
There you go.
Nice, nice.
uh,
You looking
yeah.
forward to anything?
Yeah. I mean, the end of Agatha. Traders. Now that you reminded me,
Okay,
actually getting
nice.
around to watching a lot of the shows I want to be watching. I have a deep,
Backlog.
like immediate, yeah, log of things that I want to watch if I had the time. But yeah, you ready for Last Love? Who needs Single
Yeah,
Inferno when you have Last Love, right, Sarah?
exactly. There is actually time on the beach, but it's just Jeju Island Beach. It's not
We're going right to
secret
Jeju.
heart-shaped island. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I think a big disclaimer, at least from any errors in our perspective on this podcast,
Oh
is
yeah.
that I don't. I think it's possible that other shows we watched have also done this, but this is the only time I know for sure that like the subtitles are generated that we watched for the show are generated using AI.
Yeah.
So
There's this show has not gotten traction enough to be on any platform with official English subtitles. I think for the most part it made sense, but there's towards the end they start like when people are talking directly to each other, like I feel like the AI did all right, but when they are referencing something else or some other person, like the pronoun situation gets very
yeah,
confused
it's
with the
when
AI.
they do the somewhat equivalent of like X introductions from Transit
Mm-hmm.
Love, and when they're like reading letters from loved ones. I don't know if it was me or the AI was messing up, but I was
Oh,
getting a
the
little
AI was
lost.
definitely messing up.
Okay, yeah,
I
I was getting a
think
little
I
lost.
I think it's because like in the Korean language you can just leave off pronouns a lot because you pick up things from context. Like
Yeah.
and so the AI does not know what to do with that and it's just like a person is saying this, they must be talking about themselves, and so it gets a
Hmm.
little confusing in that way.
I also think the AI was botching the participants' names a little bit,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah, I had to
which I
go.
wrote down the some of the botching of their names, which I thought was funny. Also, like whenever there's Korean text on the
On the
screen,
screen,
it's
yeah,
not
it didn't translate
translated.
that.
It's not translated for us because it's like an audio based AI. So,
Yeah, there are a couple times I like took a picture of the screen and ran it through my like Korean translator to get a
oh
little more
really? Was
context
it
on what was going
helpful?
on.
Did I
Yeah,
what did I
yeah, it was
miss? What did I
helpful.
miss? Okay, you can help me out when we get there.
Yeah, yeah. I think mostly just I used it for the rules and
Oh, the
At a
rules.
certain
Okay.
point, I was like, okay, most of these like things that are up on the screen aren't that helpful anyway, so I don't need to worry about them.
Yeah.
But,
All right. So I got the show description from My Drama List. This is not an
okay.
easily accessible TV show,
Yeah.
right? In the U.S. at least. It's
Yeah, it was rough.
yeah. I don't even know how you heard about this show, Sarah. Do you want to tell us that story?
I googled upcoming Korean reality shows,
Okay.
and I ended up on Reddit's Korean variety show subreddit.
Now there's another show that somebody recommended us at some point on Netflix called like it's about like divorced people.
Oh, right.
Are those like theoretically less than 50-year-olds though?
I think so.
Okay.
They might be late 30s, early 40s or something. I
Okay.
forget.
Okay. Well, here's the My Drama List blurb about the show. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
A dating reality program about single men and women over 50 looking for their last love to spend the latter half of their lives with. In an aging society where the average life expectancy of Koreans is 82.7 years old, it breaks away from the dating programs that show the love of 2030 generation. I don't know what that means. This might be
Uh,
I don't know what
I
2030
don't know
generation
either.
means. Maybe it's the 20 to 30s generation. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
probably.
Yeah. Okay. 20 to 30s generation. And contains honest and romantic love stories of wonderful seniors who dream of a second life. 8 senior solo men and women will spend 10 days, only 10 days, getting to know each other on Jeju Island and the island of love and romance and make their final choice. Is this a diss against all other dating programs that they're like in it's like this one that's about 50-year-olds and not 20 to 30 something contains honest and romantic love stories of
I mean,
was that saying something
pres-
about all the other dating shows I've ever watched?
presumably in a world where I never believe anyone on a dating show is actually there to find true love and is maybe just trying to bolster their Instagram career, maybe whoever wrote that thinks that people in their 50s aren't on Instagram, which
Mm,
I don't think is true, but still.
yeah. Do you want to guess the American life expectancy? Korean was 82.7 years
Oh,
old. Do you want to guess the American?
it's
I
probably
looked up Korean. It was exactly that number on Google.
okay,
So
okay.
this is also the Google's answer for America. If you can guess the number,
I don't know, like
higher or lower?
75 or something.
70.
Yeah,
You're
I
going
figure it's
lower.
lower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
77.4.
Okay, okay.
Not bad. I can crush that number though. No problem.
All right.
That's not my life expectancy. Yeah, I wrote down like my kind of expectations for the show based on
Hmm.
this description. Um, and my guess is that the show is going to feel very similar despite the age difference. That
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
vibes I got, or that was just
Hmm.
how I expected it. And then also I also just like guessed that like or one of the reasons I thought that it would be similar is just like I feel like the people that they cast on this show are like people that would have been casted on this show if they had these shows when they were in their 20s or 30s. You know, like I
Okay.
don't think it's like I don't think we're really getting like that different of a vibe of
We're
individuals.
still going for our extroverts, our people who maybe want to bolster
Yeah,
their whatever career. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's not. I don't know. They even talk about their MBTIs. Like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that's how similar this was. Like even the older generation is talking about MBTIs, and yeah, I mean, plenty of people at least claim that they are introverts on these shows, but I guess some of them are right.
Yeah. But
They don't only cast
only cast
extroverts.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, there's still a certain kind of personality I think you have to want to be on TV like this.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Yeah, that's all I got before we get into it. What anything else, sir?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's just I fully expected it to just be another dating show, but open to was open to see if somehow it was different with slightly older people. I don't know. So yeah.
And did you think you would like it more or less?
I think I just thought it would be about the same,
Oh,
I
really?
don't yeah.
I I assumed I would like it less just because like despite being as close to pretty much as close to 50 than I am to 20, I just really identify with the younger generation.
Well, when we're
So
talking about the younger shows, they're not all 20. They're like we've seen people in their early 30s
yeah,
too. So like you're closer in age range to the average of that age
yeah,
than
that's
the
actually a
average
tough
of this.
question. Do you more identify with somebody who's 20 years old or 50 years old, Sarah?
Oh.
Have you
I
hit the
wanna,
threshold yet?
well, like, I kind of want to say I probably, that's hard to say.
That's really tough.
Uh,
20's pretty young
like
to
I
me at this
am,
point.
yeah, 20 is
I'm
like, oh, you
34,
sweet
by the
little
way.
baby. But like, so I'm tired. I want to sleep a lot, but like, I do hang out with people in their 20s for like work and stuff. And literally tonight I was at Pottery Studio, and a woman asked me if I went to high school during COVID, and I was like, I have not been in high school for 20 years, dear friend. You are adorable, but no.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. I'm in an awkward
Hmm.
middle stage right now, I think.
Yeah, I think if you're referring to like a 20-year-old as a wee
Sweet
baby,
little baby. Yeah,
I think you're closer to
yeah.
50.
That's fair.
Yeah. Man, now that I think about it, it's really close.
Yeah.
The answer is I don't identify as either anymore, but it's like which one's closer? Ugh, it's actually a really tough question. As a 34-year-old, that's a really tough question. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but there's people that are 34 or like in their low 30s on the other shows, so even in their late 20. I probably identify as somebody in their like late 20, early 30s, even though I'm 34. That's how I
Yeah.
feel about myself. Yeah. All right. You ready for episode 1?
Let's get into it.
All right. There are 4 hosts for the show. There's 2 men, 2 women, 2 older, 2 younger.
One of the women was a host on Love Catcher Bali.
Is it the one on the far left?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I've definitely seen this one before, but I couldn't figure it out. Okay. The older guy just looks like Korean Fred Armisen.
Oh my god, yes. I forgot to take a note about it, but I wanted to bring that up. Yes. 100%.
Incredible. I saw it every time they went to. I like double triple check. So I was like it took me a while to figure out who I was thinking of. Actually,
Fred Armisen just sneak into Korea and pretend to be a host?
Yeah, honestly. All right. The host? Anything special about the host? I kind of toned out, totally ignored everything the host said on the show. Honestly, I didn't even write down like host reactions to the participants. I wrote down like the other participants' reactions to the participants, but
I wrote down a couple host reactions to participants, but then I stopped at some point because I forgot to, or they stopped having things to say.
Yeah, I don't think I have a single note on anything that the host said in this entire my entire notes. Okay. All right. You ready for these participants? It gets right into it in the same way that actually it doesn't get in. I guess this is more normal, right?
This is like,
what was the his man? His man got like it went like straight into like group dates, which I guess was kind of like Love Catcher Bali.
Love Catcher Bali, yeah.
Okay.
They were
they're all kind of similar. This is closer to
Heart Signal.
It's probably Transit Love because there's so many of them, but without the Exes thing that we know of.
Yeah. Yeah, so far.
Okay. Who do we got first?
First, we have Bumchun.
The
I
Korean reads as Bumchan.
Okay, there we go. Bumchan.
But they said Bumchan, but I don't know. Yeah. It's probably close either way.
So yeah, I wrote that he gets some funky cool guy music.
Okay.
I don't know. That's the vibe I got when he was coming in.
Which part? When he was looking in the kitchen, or
no, like just when he was walking up.
Oh, I didn't notice that music. I wrote down some music choices early on in this show.
Oh, I do feel like a lot of the music is like older than I would ascribe to this generation of people. You know, like there's music from like the 70s and they are maybe born in the 70s, but like if you think of like music in the quote unquote prime of their life, we're talking 90s, like early 90s.
Yeah.
It should
the music
be
still would have been popular
different
when they were younger, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's music that they would particularly associate with their life as strongly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But. So Bumchan was born in 1970. I marked him down as 54. I think according to the subtitles that we were getting, they were still using their like Korean ages. So
yeah. So they said he was like 55.
I'm just gonna say what I just did the math because they were giving us the years on everybody.
I didn't do the math, so we're gonna be one off, but that's fine.
Okay. He was born in 1970, so it's 54, 55.
The hosts think he's very fashionable. That is what.
Is that what they said about him? Okay.
Yes.
Like on his walk in, they said that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I would never have known. Okay. He starts familiarizing himself with the kitchen. He's the first one in the house.
Like he's like rifling
He wants
through
to know where
everything.
everything is. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the song he got here when he's going through the kitchen, he got a "Rock Around the Clock,"
Mm-hmm.
which is a Billie Haley song from 1955.
Yeah, that's way too old to be
I
associated
immediately
with
wrote
this
like, "Oh,
man.
they're really establishing the old people vibes on the show."
But it's like the wrong old people vibes.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I don't know. I don't know when like it was like at its peak, but you would think it was when it first came out. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely too old for
But I
people
heard
born in
it.
the
Like I
70s.
recognized the song when it
Yeah.
came
There are a
on,
lot of
right?
English songs, yeah.
Yeah. My feeling on this show, and it's like I'm gonna make like old people jokes throughout this podcast too. So I
Okay,
don't.
okay.
It's not like you know. That's what they signed up for by making this, right? But I feel like the show like kind of in like the first half of this episode like was trying to like really establish like, oh, this is a show for old people, and then
Hmm.
that kind of just went away at some point, and then they
Yeah.
just started playing like the normal Korean dating music
Yeah,
at some
yeah.
point. But that was the first one that I heard. I was like, oh, I know this song, and I know it's an old song, and I looked it up. All right, who's next?
Yeonhwa is 54, and the hosts say, "Oh, look at her long straight hair. She has long straight hair."
Okay. That's much less interesting than the comments we usually get. It's usually about their
Yeah.
like vibe or like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. In the past, who has the best reactions? Is it Heart Signal? Heart Signal might have the best
I think Heart Signal's pretty good. Yeah.
the best like they show their feet walking to their house. They're like, oh, this person got a bit of a swagger to them. It's like
Hmm.
we've only seen their
Yeah.
feet. What are we talking about? Um, and then Bombchan is ready to offer drinks to her when she walks in because he's
Yeah.
familiarized himself with the kitchen.
He very much takes this, like, we've seen it on other shows too, where the first person in sort of starts acting like the host, to
Not
be
to
like, oh,
this
I should
degree,
make
right?
other. Yeah, this is
This is
the most extreme.
yeah.
But yeah. But what I like is they kind of start talking right away. Like it's a little awkward, but it is like so much more conversation that you get on the shows with the young people, right?
Yeah, but what was
Like
their topics of conversation? We need to
they
talk
talk
about that.
about sleeping habits,
Sleeping habits.
exercise, movies, that he likes to cook. Cooking always comes up in these, beginning
Yeah.
conversations.
But sleeping habits and like what's the status of your health? Very old people. Did they mention the weather at some point, or am I just imagining that?
I didn't write it down, but probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
later on, there's definitely somebody who comes in and is like, "Oh, it's very windy outside," and they're like, "Yes, that's a windy day."
But hey, I at least like that they get right into it. There's none of this shy bullshit that we got to deal with the other shows where they just sit and stare at each other awkwardly waiting for the next person to show up.
Yeah,
So.
at least they didn't make it seem like that for these two. I feel like it is still awkward later, though, right? A little
Yeah,
bit.
but at least the ice got broken somewhere, and
Yeah,
that makes me feel
movies
better.
and I mean, if you're talking about movies and food pretty fast, that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
All right, who's number 3?
Next is Iman, who is 51. Oh, we should say that we get to know their ages, but they still aren't allowed to tell each
Yeah,
other their
I actually
ages.
wasn't. Yeah, we find that out later, but I kind of got the vibe that they weren't telling each other their ages. Which they would want to know. If, yeah. Okay, but in terms of like the addressing thing, it still applies even at these older ages, right?
Yeah. And I guess like I was curious because we were getting the ages told to us up front, is maybe because they're in this like group of older people that it would matter less, but I mean the fact that they are still having to keep it from each other I guess means it must still matter.
But are we gonna have a moment, or not in this episode, but are we gonna have like that moment on the show where like the one guy thinks that the
Other
oldest
guy is older
the
than
oldest
him.
guy on the season is the youngest guy on the season, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were so young."
I don't think that's gonna happen because Human right here is our youngest guy, and he is like the quietest, and he doesn't have older guy like the oldest guy energy,
No, but the mistake is usually that they highlight is usually that somebody thinks the oldest guy is the youngest guy, and then
Well,
they
and
feel
I
bad.
think it goes both ways.
Okay.
Oh, that's true.
Well,
yeah.
who's the oldest guy?
We haven't met him yet. He's the last guy.
Oh yeah, there's a 59. So, but that's a big gap though. If like Giman thinks that this 59-year-old, or actually
Mm-hmm.
660 if you do Korean, but 60-year-old is younger than him. That would be like a pretty significant mistake, as significant as we've seen
Yeah,
on any other
yeah,
show. But does it
that's true.
matter as much when you're in your 50s? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Hard to say. But the hosts say that Gimon looks like Steven Yeun, who
I don't know what,
is
I don't know.
Steven Yeun is the one guy on The Walking Dead.
Okay. Nothing I
Okay.
know, but okay.
They showed his picture on the screen next to Gimon in the
Oh,
episode, so
that I
I don't
was
know.
it.
It was
I
during the
just
host time, so
okay.
but
I
yeah.
see. I did see them put it up. I just assumed it was like some Korean person that I've never heard of. But I guess I could have if I watched The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Like I think we've talked about this actor before, like
Oh,
just
really?
you and me in personal context of things, but
Really? Okay, let me look up this person. What is the name?
Steven Yeun?
Even you looks
I tell you where
familiar.
I know we
What's
definitely
he
talked about
from?
him, but you'd have to cut it out of the episode because it's weird.
Okay.
I know I don't trust you
But
to cut it out. But
am
you
I
remember
cutting
when
out
we
the
made?
part? Am I cutting the part of the episode out?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, you gotta get the whole
I
thing
know what
out.
you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. You don't have to say it.
Okay, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
it's not.
Is that
You
what I
have to
know
cut
him
out
from
that.
though? Is that what I
I
know
mean,
him
but I
from?
know that we've
It
discussed him
might
in that
be. It might
context.
actually be the only thing I know him from.
I guess it's true. You wouldn't have watched The Walking Dead. What else
Yeah.
has he been in? I've seen him in other things, but
Okay.
I can't think of them now.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen. Oh, he's in Okja. Have you ever watched Okja?
Oh no, I have not.
I
Because
have. I've watched
I
that.
didn't want to get sad, and that looked like it was going to be real sad.
It's more spooky season vibes, honestly. If you want to
Okay.
spooky season in some
Hey,
way.
apparently he's a little part in the new Space Jam movie, so there you go.
Oh,
Oh,
there you go.
Beef is an excellent Netflix show that he is in.
I haven't seen that, but okay.
You haven't seen it, but it's very good. That is, I recommend.
I'll recommend Okja.
Okay.
All right.
Regardless, the hosts think this guy looks like him, and I can kind of see it too.
Yeah. I don't really like G-Man's facial hair, at least in the for the
Uh-huh, yeah.
actor for Stevens. He's clean shaven, at least in the picture I looked at. He looked normal. I'm not vibing with G-Man's facial hair in this show, but
Okay, okay.
I didn't realize he was actually the youngest. But because at some point later on, I wrote like, oh, he seems to have the most energy out of everybody. But I didn't go back to check if he was actually the youngest.
All right.
That's funny. When they go on the walk later, but yeah. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. What do we have? What's the fourth person?
This is Jun Suk, who's 55. She awkwardly knocks when she comes in. Everybody else just kind of walks in, I think.
Yeah.
And the hosts say her short hair is charming.
Okay. Yeah, these are weak. These are some weak hosts.
Yeah, yeah. It's mostly not. Yeah, I think that
The
is
first
probably
thing I
the
noticed
last
about her was
host
her
thing I
hair.
wrote.
Yeah, Bumchan gets her slippers for her and takes her drink order.
Mm-hmm. And I think we get a cutaway to her talking, and she's like already vibing with this man. She's just like, he's tall and brought me coffee when I was feeling awkward. Let's go.
Yeah, John-Suk. Yeah, she seems to be going pretty hard early on in the show. I'll be honest. I think she's
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think she's vibing with everybody, or is trying to, or she came in swinging. I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's not here to fuck around. She's here to get shit done.
Well, she might be.
Well, yeah, but that is getting shit done on a reality show, so it's in a dating show. So there you go.
Okay. Yeah. Yanhua talks to Junsuk about the weather. It's windy. Classic.
There we go. Yep.
And Junsuk tells us that Bumchan is tall.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
That's the only requirement, as we've seen many times before.
How did the host miss that one? Come on.
Well, I mean, he came in and they didn't have anyone to compare him to.
Okay.
So, there you go. That's probably why they missed it.
She noticed his height right away. He is much taller than her. And then they cut to them standing together. He is actually much taller than her. I'm sure she's also very short. But
yeah.
I do think we get his height later, and I think he's like 6'2". So.
Oh yeah, there you go.
He's not taller than me, so he's not tall.
I mean, he's close to your height, and I think he still counts as tall.
Okay. But yeah, she seems to like Bumchan's vibes. And then Bumchan says, does he say he's his chef, or he just says he likes to cook? Right? Because
he says he likes to cook.
They're not
And he
saying their occupations either. Either is that a rule?
correct.
Okay.
Right. He does I think it's here where he's like promising to cook for everybody and he like somebody asks him why he learned to cook or whatever and I think he says one of his family members is vegan and so he cooked a lot for them. So,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. One of his family members might have watched Okja. If people didn't know what Okja was about, or it's not really about
Mhm.
that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It that's why I knew it would be sad and I didn't want to watch it.
All right. That's nice, I guess. He doesn't seem to be vegan himself, though, so I'm not that impressed.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
All right, who's next?
Next is Jinhui, who is 53, and he comes in and we get Young Hua comment saying he had a big impact when he showed up. And
Yeah.
then Junsuk says he's like a sculpture in Roman mythology.
Oh, is it Roman?
He's
I wrote down Greek, but still the same idea.
yeah, yeah. He's still very handsome, which
Yeah,
I guess implies that she generally does not find people around her own age to be handsome, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. It's got we got to be operating on a scale here, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I'm sure, all these people are attractive for 50-year-olds for sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is not what I would have said about anybody on the show. They sculpted from Roman mythology.
Yeah.
But
I
that,
don't
yep,
know.
that's how
Yep.
John Suck's feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She seems
Just
in it immediately.
John Suck also says that Jinhui is unique to his face.
Yes.
Which at least from the subtitles was a weird choice of words. Later, they get the subtitles right here for Jinhui, but later I believe the subtitles just say genie for
Yeah.
Jinhui. Yeah.
It gets real confusing for a little while.
Yeah. But it's like if they're just operating off the sound,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can see how I got it wrong. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is what I wrote. I think after the Roman mythology comment, this is what I wrote down. The show is really giving me hope that I can be attractive in my 50s. 16 years away, Sarah. It's so close.
Yeah, that's something to think about, sure.
Okay. I'm only 14 years away from being 20 if I go back in time.
See, there you go. I
Start
guess
living
that
in
answers your
reverse.
question.
No,
You're
it doesn't.
closer
It's about my identity more than anything. Well, I identify closer to 20, but I wouldn't want to identify as 20 either. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. All right. Who's next?
Next we get Kyung Hee, who is 58, and
Ooh, we have a
she
different pronunciation of this person's name.
what did you have?
Well, I don't believe there was a AI interpretation unless I missed it. I have Kyung Hui, but I just got that from looking at the Korean.
Well, yeah, I didn't actually look at the Korean, so yeah, I mean, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think we're that far off. Kyung Hee, what did you say?
I thought you said like an H sound or something to start that.
Oh, to start, no.
Oh,
In the end, though, Kyung Hee. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, okay, we got it. How old
But
is she?
she is 58, and she seems to be into Jinhui immediately.
Sculpted from Roman mythology.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
guy.
And this is where I wrote, even on the old people show, the youngest guy doesn't get any attention. Like,
Oh yeah.
without even
Well, he's got terrible facial hair.
intentionally.
He's got terrible
Well,
facial hair.
okay, yeah, he could improve that. That's true.
That's funny though. Yeah, it doesn't matter how old you get. It's still like fuck the young guys. We don't want
You would
them.
think you'd think at a certain point it might,
Nah.
flip and be preferable to have the younger guy, but I guess not.
Yeah, well, way too much energy for me. Junsuk is gonna help Bamchan in the kitchen, and she's flirting pretty hard at this point, right?
Oh yeah, what I like about this is like he's in the kitchen with Kyung Hee, like getting her a drink, and Jungsook's like, this won't do, no, and like shoots up to go and help him in the kitchen instead,
Oh, okay. Well, they was that a real moment or was that a TV created kind of like?
I mean, that's what the show is trying to tell us about the situation.
Okay, yeah, okay. They did that a lot. I kind of ignored it, but they did that a lot of like, especially with the women, like showing the women's facial reactions in a way that made it seem like they were already like trying to one up each other. But I didn't read into it that hard as much as the show wanted me to.
But in theory, that's the story the show is trying to tell.
Yeah, okay. All right, who's next? This is when they really, this next person they really got wrong, right? The AI really got wrong.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not entirely sure. I think I got it right. And then like I had to go back and fix my notes a bunch of times, but I'm pretty sure this is Jaewoo. Is that what you got?
Oh yeah, I wrote Ju, but yeah, you're probably right. They usually put
Okay.
the W in there. Yeah, Ju. But they said
Uh
Jihyo, which is like the
yeah.
girl I like from Twice. So I was like, either this is like a gender neutral name that I'm not aware of, or this that was the first thing that indicated to me that maybe I need to go back and look at everybody's name because I'm pretty sure,
Yeah, yeah.
pretty
I
sure.
mean there are several gender neutral names. I
Yeah.
don't know all of them, but
Well,
it could have been.
I googled the name to see if like anything came up,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like, no, it's just the girl from Twice. And
Well, yeah, she's probably like the most
she was the
famous.
biggest name,
Yeah.
but I couldn't even find like another one.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
couldn't find a male.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, we got it figured out though. Jay Woo.
Yeah. Jaewoo is 60. He almost misses the house entirely.
This is such an old. This is. Did they do him dirty by putting this in here? This is such an
Probably
old person.
yes.
Like, for this moment though, I feel like if somebody did this on the younger shows, they also would have shown it just to like make them look foolish,
Oh, that's true.
or to be like they're like a little spacey or something. But
I mean, I
it's
think
just
he
funny
does have
on the.
another like spacey moment later that made me write some notes about that. So like this might just be also who he is, you know? He's just
Yeah,
a little
I.
spacey.
Did they comment? The host comment about how like, or at least my immediate thought was like, oh, if he walked right by the house, like maybe he just like can't see. And then
Oh.
there's gonna be moments later when they need to read letters and they're like, oh, let me go get my glasses.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's one of them.
I think
I
he
think he
doesn't
is
even
one of
get I
them.
think he just borrows
He
somebody
borrows
else's
somebody else's
glasses.
glasses, so yeah,
Yeah.
he can use the like over the counter glasses or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
his readers.
Yeah. Right. But what's great about Jaewoo is when he does make it into the house, he maneuvers himself to like sit in between Junsuk and Yeonhwa. Just be like, oh wait, let me sit in between. Like they were sitting next to each other on the couch, and he's just like, no, I need to be in between these two women,
Okay,
which was amusing to me.
but listen, hear me out on this.
Okay.
He's gonna do this exact same move later.
Uh huh.
We've already established he might not be able to see very well.
Okay.
Do we also think maybe he just can't hear very well, and that's why he wants to be in the middle of everybody?
That might be true too.
I think that was my best guess as to what he was doing. Like they set it up as like, oh, he's like making a power move, but like
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just think he just wanted to be able to hear what everybody was saying.
All right. Okay.
That's my take.
But then he does get Junsuk to give him a tour of the house. So he's at
Yeah,
least like making moves on a certain level of just like, hey, why don't you show me around?
yeah. So they're not going to show. They never show Bomchan like doing his own personal tour of the house besides the kitchen, and then they don't show anybody taking a tour of the house until this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of get the sense because the next person that comes in is going to be shown around by Jaewoo. And I almost got the sense that they like took turns being the tour guide and like everybody
Yeah.
did this, but we
Mm-hmm.
only see it on these two because I guess it's going to be like relevant to
Right. Yeah.
whatever the story the show is showing us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Probably.
who said so? Jong Suk is taking Jaewoo on a tour. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And we don't really see much of this tour, right? It's just kind of like
Yeah, we don't
here's
see
the awkward
much.
ceiling room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, like they're kind of in two houses.
Yeah.
Like we find out
right.
later that there's like the women's house and the men's house, and the men's house happens to have the common zone in it.
Are they fully divided? Like you have to leave one to go to the other?
It looks like you got to go through that courtyard to get from one
You
to
think
the
you
other.
have to? Okay. I just
Or
saw this
that's
like,
at
oh,
least
there's a
how they
house in
show
here.
them. And there
Yeah.
are two separate kitchens.
Oh, there are. I didn't notice that. Okay. Yeah, I just saw it as they definitely put the men and the women on the opposite sides of the house if it is the same
Yeah.
house. All right, last one.
Last person we get is Unju, and she is 50, and she gets the slow-mo treatment when she walks in.
Yeah.
Like she's the it girl, I guess.
Yeah. Unju gave me some okay. Every single person that came in so far has been like,
Uh-huh.
I was born this year.
Uh-huh.
And then for Unju, they just tell us that she's 50.
So
Which
you
means
think
she's
maybe
49,
she doesn't tell
probably,
people.
right?
Yeah.
I feel like Unju didn't make the age requirement on the show, and they were like, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
And then that immediately made me think like, oh, like there's a reason that they want her to be on the show.
Okay.
That was my immediate thought about her.
All right. She did get a good edit on entrance. Yeah.
Maybe she got a good at it, but they want her to be there because they think she's gonna
Because
be
they
like,
think everybody's going to be interested in her.
okay, that's what it is. My initial thought was like, oh, she's gonna be like the dramatic person,
Ah.
but I feel like on these shows, yeah, you're right. Like the people that they're probably centering the show around are more like the person that's gonna get everybody to like them.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what the show wants to happen, right? Because
Yeah.
if they just
I would think
pair
so.
up, like if they just match up 1-1-1-1, it's like a boring show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If everybody
They
makes a
need
couple.
everybody like
Yeah.
to compete for one person and it to
So
be
they must,
awkward. And
yeah. I think so. Yeah. I guess my guess is Unju is the production expected Unju to be this person, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that she did not meet the age requirement.
That's an interesting take. Yeah, you might have convinced
It's
me.
easy. It's easier just to lie and be like, yeah, I'm 50, and instead of like literally lying about the year you're born. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they didn't go that far. Unless they said it and it just didn't come up the subtitles, but I think they missed it.
Yeah, I don't think we even got it on the screen even. Like I think with everybody else they like put it up as text.
Yeah.
And we didn't get it for her.
And ultimately I don't care. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
I mean
It's just funny.
to make a show about 50-year-olds specifically is like relatively arbitrary, right? Like who cares if it's 49 and above or 48 and above? It's like pretty much the same exercise. So
Right.
Yeah. All right. What if she's like crazy young though? What if she's like 42?
I don't think she's 42.
I don't think she's 42 either, but I think my guess is she just didn't make the cut and they just didn't want to
it's probably just a little bit. Yeah. I would think that she wouldn't want to be a 42-year-old telling the world she's 50 either,
That's true too, yeah. Okay. Or maybe it's like I'll be 50 by the time this airs.
Yeah, that might be true.
Yeah. Then they could have said her a year though.
Yeah,
I don't know. If they didn't see her a year. Yeah. Yeah, and then Jay Woo volunteers to show Unju the house.
But like Geeman automatically starts to follow. He's just like, oh.
And production immediately has succeeded with Unju.
Yeah. I feel like we get a couple faces of the guys when she walks in, just they cut to that face that's supposed to be, oh, I've noticed the new woman. This is exciting or whatever.
Yeah. And I started ignoring those faces, but yeah.
Yeah. At the very least, it seems like she got the attention of these two.
Yeah. So Giman is awkwardly also on this tour.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Woo and Unju, and then Jay Woo. There's this one room that's like, I don't know if it's like a loft or what it is, but it's like closer to the ceiling in a way that
it's got a slopey ceiling.
It's a slopey ceiling, so one of the beds is like, especially one of the beds is like really kind of close to the ceiling. Mm-hmm. But it's a low ceiling in general, and Jay Woo like points out that he's like hitting the ceiling, kind of like to highlight how tall he is.
Look how tall I am. Yeah,
which is a weird move, assuming he has seen Bomb Chung standing up at this point, mm-hmm. But maybe.
Well, do we know which of them is taller?
Oh, I think Bomb Chung is significantly taller than everybody. There's a moment where all the guys get their picture taken together. And I think Bomb Chung is significantly taller than everybody, but he may not have seen him standing up, depending on.
That's true.
Since he was the last guy to enter, I'm not sure. So I think he thought maybe his height was going to be an asset.
I mean, it still could be an asset in that he is taller than two of the men, maybe,
Maybe, yeah. But I don't think it's like, like he might not even be 6 feet. So it's like, I don't know.
But I feel like she's fairly teeny. So, I don't know that she needs 6 feet to be tall. Less than 6 feet can seem pretty tall to her. Maybe.
Oh yeah, to her, yeah. But it's just like the show at least presented it, or at least the way I saw it was like, oh, he's pointing out that he's taller than Giman because they're together in this room.
Oh yeah.
Giman can kind of stand comfortably in the room, and he has to like kind of hunch over a little bit to make sure he doesn't hit his head. Mm-hmm. He's like, so he like points it out. to Unju, but yeah. All right, we got everybody. Are we going to see game changers on the show, Sarah?
I don't think so.
I don't
The
think so
description
either.
you read said 8 people, and we
Yeah,
have now met 8 people.
yeah. It's 10 days. I mean, Love Catcher Bali had it was a short show, like
Mm-hmm.
9 or 10 days, and they had game changers. But yeah, I just kind of don't feel like it's a thing on the show, but maybe.
Maybe. I don't
No. Somebody brings up MBTIs.
know.
They're like talking
Yeah.
as a group, and I could not tell if they were joking or if they meant it, and they don't go
Or if
deep
they're like,
into it.
oh, we've seen these shows, we must talk about MBTI
Yeah,
or
I thought it
not.
was like a
Yeah.
joke, like making fun of the young kids, like, well, let's talk about our MBTIs. You know what you're supposed to do, and I thought that was kind of funny. And then they didn't go deep into it, where like we didn't learn everybody's MBTI like we have on other
Right,
shows.
right. Yeah.
And then, which is mostly when do they do that? They do that on Transit Love because they just have so much hours to fill with that show.
Yeah, yeah.
But then later, at least two of the women are going to be like dead serious talking about their MBTI. So like, I don't know how deep the group discussion got, but some of them at least are talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll never be rid of it. It's always up there.
Yeah, the hosts talk about who made the best first impression.
Yeah, then we get confessionals from everybody where they were all asked who had the best
Yeah.
first
But
impression.
Sarah, who made the best first impression?
You mean for me?
Yeah,
Who do
yeah,
I?
yeah.
Um.
I think there's only one right answer for this.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah. It's
you were blown away by somebody's appearance, but
no. It's the guy that got everybody drinks and played host and
yeah,
like made everybody comfortable. And literally all the women say Bumchun as their best first impression. Yeah.
yeah. At least that's how the show is showing us. But yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah. That's the edit we get.
yeah,
But then we get Gimin, Jinhua, or Jinhui, and Jaewoo all say Unju is their first impression person. I think Jaewoo even says she was like an angel shining brightly. It's very dramatic.
oh, there you go. Okay.
But then Man of the Hour Bomchon mentions Yeonhwa and Junsuk as the two who caught his eye
Yeah,
first.
the first two women that entered. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So who's getting left out? G-Man. Well, every man besides Bombchon getting left out of
Yes.
these early impressions. I
Uh-huh.
don't. But that's not real though. Like Unju or people commented about like the one guy was a Roman sculptor
Yeah.
from Roman mythology. So
So yeah, I don't
they're
think he's
not.
on the outs exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
But
he's still
then
got a chance.
it's young. What was it? Was the one woman
Oh yeah.
that's getting
Kyung
nothing?
Kyung-hee didn't get any
Young he's getting nothing.
didn't get
Yeah.
picked. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Where are we at? Oh, do we get the opening credits finally?
Yes.
And the opening credits theme song, at least in episode 1 for the show, is "Can't Take My Eyes Off of You"
Which is again an
from
old song.
1967.
It is too old for these people. It's like,
Yeah,
you
it's
know
around
how
when they
like
were born, though.
I
At
guess
least that one is. Yeah.
it feels a lot like, you know how Christmas nostalgia is all about like Christmas in the 50s. I
Yeah.
feel like
It's because
we've
it's
just
passed
decided
down.
old people are from the 50s.
But these
you
are
know?
songs that like make it through generations because they were that popular, right?
Yeah, but they're still dated and from like the 50s, you know? So I just wonder if like our conceptual idea of old people is like, oh yeah, from the 50s, even though that's not relevant to these
I
particular
mean, this is
older people.
67, so it's not
That's
that
at
old,
least
but
closer, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, at this point, I think still establishing that this is a show of old people.
It's like these people were like in their 20s in the early 90s, like they could have all been listening to Nirvana. Like that's the thing, you know? Like I know
Isn't there also like kind of a delay on the music though? From if you're talking about American music
oh, that
going
is
to
true.
Korea? Yeah, so I think that's also
Yeah.
messing with the timeline.
But then in that case, are even any of these songs relevant to these people anyway? Like did I don't know.
They might have
I
been
don't know.
popular in Korea for them when they were in their 20s. I don't know. You never know, right?
I guess.
If there's a little bit of a delay on it.
All right, I'll get off my soapbox about I don't know, Nirvana or whatever.
Yeah, I know like yeah. I know I had like a friend in high school whose like parents were like really into like Elvis and Michael Jackson music.
Mhm.
But I guess I don't know, would they have been Maybe that is their age though. I'm not sure.
Well, Elvis is older than Michael Jackson, so
Their
yeah, I
parents
don't
were
know.
from probably China, I think.
Okay.
So
I don't
to
know.
me,
I
it
guess
felt weird.
I
It
don't have a good way to judge it. Yeah, yeah.
Elvis is old. Elvis is really old, right? Michael next, not so
Yeah, yeah.
much. But yeah, Elvis, like to be like big fans of Elvis, it's like a little bit of a delayed. Even
Yeah,
in
that's
the
true.
like my parents in the early 2000s, they weren't like super into Elvis music, right? Were your
Yeah,
parents
yeah.
into Elvis music?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but you still know that some of the Elvis songs. It's just
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, that's my favorite
Mm-hmm.
performer or whatever. Yeah.
Right, right.
Okay, we get into the rules of this show.
Yes.
Okay,
This is where I
I
took
wrote
my.
some of them down that they, as long as they talked about them, I wrote them down. But
Oh
were
yeah,
there
yeah. I
funny
took a
ones? The
picture.
water plants or
It
something?
got translated. There's
Okay.
no water plants. It's and again, this is still like AI translated, right? Because it's through an app. But so the first rule is we respect each other and call each other by name only. So I guess that kind of implies don't use your like honorifics or whatever for like older or younger. I
Oh,
guess
okay,
is
that's what it means.
probably
Yeah,
what that's getting
it's
into.
not like saying about anything about pronouns or anything. It's like,
No, no,
oh yeah,
no.
it's we've seen that before where it's like, don't they don't want people to like. I don't think they want people to necessarily try to figure out if they're younger or older.
Right? Yeah.
They just want to be like, look, you're the same age. Don't try to figure it out. It's no big deal. Even though that somebody always tries to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. Then the next one is personal information, including each other's age, cannot be disclosed arbitrarily.
I'm assuming that's like occupation, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
location, sometimes where you live.
That's
Yeah,
true. Then it's we have a comfortable life by choosing meals and cleaning duty every day.
this is pretty standard, but they're like,
Yeah.
but this is one of the biggest differences is the I would I don't think they're gonna be like super sloppy and like staying up all night.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's probably the biggest difference in the show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they're
Then we
pretty on top
have
of cooking on the show. Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Then we have every night I write anonymously to my likable partner. So we're not sending text
yeah.
messages,
But
we're
see, this
writing letters.
I think this is dirty by production.
They're
Like,
just like, you don't know how to use
yeah,
phones. You write letters like old people.
these people should feel insulted that they have to write letters instead of using texting. Like, is production really that worried that like, oh, they're gonna get so confused and then they're gonna somehow like
I don't think it's
mess
that.
up the texting or like, you know,
I think
I
they
don't
want them
know.
to seem old.
Yeah, that's
I
what
think
I'm
that's
saying.
what
It is
that's.
like the show
I
just
don't think
wants
they're
us.
worried. They just want to be like, yeah, look at these old people
Yeah,
and their slow ass communication.
yeah. They want us. They want to really establish that this is like, oh no, this is a show. These are old people.
Yeah,
If you thought, if you didn't realize they were old, they can't even text.
yeah, yeah. They have to write letters by candlelight, and then a horse will deliver it. It's so old.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
yeah.
think yeah. So there's like I'm making jokes with old people stereotypes to some extent,
hmm
but I was like a little bit worried that the show is going to be like a little too much with that. But I think they just do it up to a point, and then this is probably the biggest thing that they do is like make them write letters, and then at some point I
Yeah.
do think they kind of back off.
Yeah, like they go out like on a group date sort of after dinner or whatever, and they're just
Yeah,
like taking selfies, with each other and
yeah,
what
and
like
they're not playing like '60s music over their dates, at least
yeah,
from what
yeah.
I've seen so far. And the only moment is like when they like have to go get their glasses to read the letters or something, and then
Yeah, yeah.
but that's kind of it's more funny than it is like, oh, we put this in to
Right,
really
yeah.
establish that they're old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, what anything else on these roles?
Yeah, next we get except for direct confession, expressions of favor are acceptable.
I think this is a rule on every single show we watch, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been specifically stated like this.
Well,
I'm
again,
probably
this
forgetting,
is a robot translation, so it's probably just don't confess your feelings to
yeah,
people.
but this is a rule on every show. It's not specific to this
Yeah.
one, even though I'm pretty sure this rule is on every show. Like they basically
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
you saying to somebody, "I'm picking you in the end,
Right, right.
and I'm in love with you." Like you can't say that, even though there are plenty of ways to kind of heavily imply that. without
Mm-hmm.
saying it. Yeah.
And this last one, I'm pretty sure is mistranslated, but I'm going to read it exactly because it's funny how ominous it sounds. If you follow the rules of occupancy, you can leave the last love house, which implies that if you don't follow the rules, you can never leave. But I think it's just trying to say if you break the rules, we'll kick you out, you know? And it's
Oh,
just a
or
mistranslation.
or it's just like okay. I
Or
heard it.
if you
I heard it
follow the
as like
rules,
you
you
follow the
can leave
rules,
the house
you'll
with somebody or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's what I kind of read it as or heard it as. All right.
I love the ominous undertones of the direct, probably wrong translation.
All right. We talked about the house layout.
Mm-hmm. We
Probably no
get
game changers. All right.
yeah. We don't see how, but they pick roommates. We get Unju and Kyungki together, and Younghwa and Junsuk are together.
Yeah. And then what? Bomchon and
Bumchan and
Jaewoo,
Jaewoo and
Iman and
Iman and Jinhui
Jinhui.
are together.
Yeah. Kyunghui and Unju, they actually talk about MBTIs, and we get theirs. I wrote down
Mm-hmm.
Unju's because he's INFP, which is that's me.
Oh, there you go.
Although I consider myself somewhere between an INFP and an INTP. So, but you
I
know,
always forget.
I'm always a little interested. You're probably
I'm
you're
a wizard on that one website that has
you're a
the
J.
people.
I think you're a
I'm the
J.
wizard.
I think you're a J instead of a P, but you're pretty close to me. I think.
That doesn't feel right.
Oh, maybe I'm not.
Maybe it's
Maybe I'm
right.
not
I
remembering.
don't know. No, I think like whenever I see my results, I'm like, I don't know that that feels right, and then it's different when I take it again later. So
Yeah, but you know, it's an honestly, you know, it's enough to be like, okay, I'm paying attention to Unju now. She's the same.
okay,
She's the same MBTI as me. Why not?
that's what you needed, not her theoretically turning all the heads when she came in.
No, I mean, no. Yeah, that's what's like kind of missing. Where I can't really like.
Are you
I'm
saying
not
you
really
can't
like.
relate to this show because you're not attracted to anyone on the show?
I think the women are attractive for their age and everything. You know, the guys. You know, I'm not. You can tell me the guys are attractive. Are they?
Uh,
I don't have any strong
yeah,
opinions.
I guess sure. Why not?
But yeah, I'm not having like the oh my god, this person. No one's like I'm trying to think of like who like when like what do we talk about in like hearts not heart signal yeah heart signal most recent heart signal
Yes.
when like the girl came off. I forget which girl it was. I can forget her name right now, but she like took her coat off and like they highlighted it as like this like
Mm-hmm.
oh she did this like reveal of her.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
I was like, yeah, she looked good. I'll be like, yeah, you know, yeah,
uh huh.
that did it
Okay.
for me. It did it for me.
All right. All right.
But no, I don't have that. I don't have any moments in watching this first episode like that. But you know, she's an INFP. Okay,
Okay.
I'm invested.
Whatever works, I guess. Yeah.
I needed something to latch on to. I'll do it. Well, the other thing I like about hearing INFPs on these shows is because like I do not think that I would be somebody that they would want to cast on this show. So it's kind of weird to me that somebody
Uh
is an
huh.
INFP.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess none of it really matters except for the I, right? Like the introverted
Like
part.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. I
even
would think
like
so.
I forget what all the things stand for. I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm somebody that would thrive for what production would want to be going for on any of
Mm.
these shows. So
Yeah,
it's kind
yeah.
of surprises me. But if it's like purely just like oh it's she's there for her looks, then it's like okay, I guess it's gonna work. It appears to be working so far.
Yeah. So
Okay,
far, yeah.
all right. Was her name Jimin?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
it was
That's
like
who it was.
yeah. Okay, it was Jimin. All right. On Heart Signal 4.
Yeah, we
Uh,
got there.
all right. Oh, and then I wrote I don't know what was going on, but at some point they play Champagne Problems, which is Hugo Helmig song from 2020. So they gave
I
up. They
don't.
gave up on the
Oh,
old timey
okay.
music. It's from 2020. So
All right. I'll believe you.
yeah. It won't only be old music. This is what I finally
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
we're back to normal.
We've laid the theme. Now we can move on. Yeah.
Yeah, Jinhui is gonna sit in the middle again. I mentioned this, but I
Yes.
think he just wants to hear. Although I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
either way, it's a
Whatever
good move.
works.
It's like when I think like if you need to if it's there's gonna be 5 people in a car, back middle's the seat, right? You're gonna be part of every conversation.
Oh, that's the worst seat, but okay, you're right. Yeah.
From a social perspective, it's the best seat in the car.
Yeah, yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything before the doorbell rings there?
No, that's the next
All
thing I
right.
got.
We got a letter.
Yeah, doorbell rings, we get a letter, and they have to divide into cooking and grocery teams. And it's whoever checks the letter is supposed to be the first person on the cooking team, and they pick a person who picks a person who picks a person, and that's the cooking team. But there is an awkward thing where, I don't know, one person gets it, but then a different person reads it, but
Yeah.
then somebody, yeah, it's.
Bomchon gets the letter, but then Eamon, because he's the youngest, he has the best eyesight. He reads
Uh-huh.
it. Yeah. They played this like almost like scary music when they when Bomchon was spreading out the letter. It was like it wasn't even dramatic. It was like a borderline like horror. I don't know.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah, it
weird.
was weird.
Um, yeah. So this is classic cooking team, grocery team. Although this how they're doing it is a bit odd. Where we've seen this like people pick each other before, but we never seen it for
Hmm.
this like first day cooking
Yeah,
grocery thing. So basically, everybody on the cooking team like
thinks
there's
each
some
other's hot.
amount there's some amount of like oh we picked each other, but then the
Yeah,
grocery team nobody on that team picked each other.
right.
So it's just a little weird from that standpoint. But what are the picks we get here?
So we get Chun picks Unju, despite the fact that she was not the person he said for his first impression pick. Oh wait, that's
Well,
he
no, no,
says that, but he
no.
just got the wrong name wrong.
Yeah,
Okay, that's right.
yeah. I got excited by that too, and then I was like, oh, okay. Hey,
Yeah,
he was associating the wrong name.
yeah. So he meant to pick Junsuk, and
Yeah, Johnson.
they sorted that out. So he picks her.
Yeah,
And then
that's in line with what production showed
yeah,
us.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So then she picks Jaewoo, who we get a like confessional where he's like, "Oh, I got picked. This is good." And then she's just like, "I literally didn't know who to pick because the guy I wanted to pick already picked me. So
yeah.
whatever. I just randomly chose someone."
I thought that was a cool confessional to show because they didn't
Hmm.
have to show that, right?
Yeah,
They
they
could
could have
have.
like built it up to be like, "Ooh, is she into this
Yeah,
guy?" Yeah, and they didn't.
yeah. So she would have picked Bombchon because she wants him to know that she picked him, but he wasn't an
Yeah.
option to be picked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that is a bit odd. But she picked the guy that she showed the tour to, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
There must not be like any supporting footage for them to weave a story of her being maybe into him, you know?
yeah. Now that we say that, yeah, that makes sense. Because then why it's so easy just to leave that out and like keep the tension of it, or
Yeah, yeah.
have dramatic a dramatic letter reveal later, like oh my god, she
Yeah,
switched
yeah.
her or whatever. Yeah,
If they could have pulled that off, I think they would have. It's worth a lot more than the quick funny moment here.
yeah. And then Jo picks Unju, which
Yes, yes.
every guy besides Bomchun would have picked. So if Giman got to go first, he would have picked Unju. Who would have picked? I don't know who Unju would have picked. What?
Probably Bumchun based on her pick for first impression.
Oh, baby, yeah.
Yeah.
The Bomchun would have still been on the cooking team. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. He's the one that seems to know how to cook, so.
Yeah. Um, despite Bomchun being on the cooking team,
Mm-hmm.
it very much seems like he wishes he could be on both teams. Is that how you? That was the vibe I got. It's not a not. He didn't say that, but that was my vibe. Like
What gave you
he
that
was
vibe?
like, I want you. He's like, they were putting the grocery list together, and he was just very like, oh, I want you to get this, but like, and then he started getting like really specific about it.
Oh, about
Like
like this
it
brand and
it almost
yeah,
seemed
yeah.
like he kind of wished like he was the one doing the grocery shopping.
I think
I
I
think he
took it
wanted to do the whole
as
thing. He wanted to do the whole
I took it
process.
as he plans on cooking a lot and wants them to get the right ingredient because they don't wait for the
That's true
grocery team
too.
to come back. Like
That
they
was the
cook with
weirdest
the
part.
food that they already have.
That
The
is not
grocery team's
normal.
picking up stuff for the future.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the fridge and everything was already stocked with food, and then I guess they were like, oh, but I guess we're still gonna do the grocery shopping segment, and then
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they made an entire meal of stuff that production had already supplied them. So that
Right.
grocery team, they didn't even eat any of that today.
Right. So
Yeah,
yeah, I just
that was
took that
weird.
as Bumchun is planning on continuing to cook and is maybe particular about what he's cooking with.
This was the beginning. I think there's more later in my notes. It was just like the beginning of like, okay, Bombchum is a little like he likes to be in control and
Mm.
almost in like a it's too much kind of way.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of my vibe that
All right.
I ended with. But this was just like the beginning of it.
Okay, okay. Well,
Um, Well, because he
I'll
says
have
later when they're
good
cooking,
news for
like
you later then.
he says later when he's cooking, like he wishes like he was just doing everything right, because
Oh,
it
okay.
was like
Yeah.
it made it harder that everybody was like trying to
Mm-hmm.
help. Yeah, from his perspective.
Yeah.
Or and I couldn't. Was it? Is it because he wants to show that he can do it by himself at all, or was it just like
Maybe? I don't know.
it felt like he was being hindered by everybody? I couldn't really tell.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either.
All right. So we basically see the cooking team just start cooking immediately as soon as the grocery team leaves. Didn't what anything from the grocery
Yeah.
the cooking
Oh, of
segment?
course. I wrote Jaewoo might be a dumb hottie. Not that I
Okay.
think he's a hottie, but just that's what I wrote.
Okay.
Because this is the man who like almost missed the house. And then we see him washing a vegetable, but it still has like the plastic wrap on it. And then he couldn't get the wrap off. And then Unju had to come over and like help him get it off. And then he started to chop it, and she's like, "Wait, shouldn't you wash that?" And he's like, "No, I already did." She's like, "You did when it was in the plastic, my dude. Try." And he's like, "Oh, right, you're right,
Oh,
yeah."
I missed this
So I don't know.
I
He
missed
might
this
just
whole
be a dumb
exchange.
hottie.
Is he
This is all
dumb
I was
or
paying attention
is he
to
dumb or
during
is
the
he just
cooking
old
stuff.
though? Like he can't see things well. Is that all it
I
is?
don't think it was a
There's a
seeing thing.
difference
Like
between. Oh, you don't think? He's like,
I,
I can't tell that
I
this
think
was
he just might be a
unwrapped.
dumb hottie.
Okay. What was it? I totally missed this. What was it? He didn't open.
It was like just a vegetable that was like vacuum sealed in plastic. Like it wasn't like on a board or anything. It was just
Was it
like
like
sucked.
sealed
The plastic was sealed and sucked to the vegetable. And he's
in a
like
way that
trying to
like
wash it.
it was still the shape of the vegetable?
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Okay.
completely form
That could be
fitted.
a sight thing.
But he's feeling it with his hands.
I guess so. Okay.
And I think that's where he does notice it, and then he's like, and then he just like can't get it. I don't know. But then
I'm not gonna say he's a dum dum yet. I'm not gonna go there.
but you're like, oh, he's just so old instead. So okay, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm
I
giving
mean,
him
it's
the
one
benefit of the doubt and
You
calling
think
him
you're
a dumb
giving him the
hottie.
benefit by calling him stupid? I'm being like,
No,
it's
just
unfortunate.
like a little, like just a little dumb, just a little dumb.
The man is what, 60 years old?
Yeah, you can be a little dumb at any age.
I don't think I'm insulting him by saying, he might just be a little old and he couldn't tell that the wrapper was still on it.
He just, yeah,
No big deal.
I'm just saying he might just,
I think
be a little absent-minded.
No, what you're saying is way more offensive. I'm not going to let you get away with this. He's been on this planet for 60 years. I think he has seen a vegetable that's been wrapped before.
Yeah, so you'd think it wouldn't be, this would have been an easier exchange. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I'm just
okay.
not. I'm
All
not.
right, what you're saying
the
is
old,
far
I'm
more
just
insulting than what I'm saying. That's
right.
all I'm gonna. I'm not gonna let you put that on me.
I guess it depends on the person, but I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever. That's just what I wrote. He might be a dumb hottie. We'll find out, or we won't.
He wasn't even the one that was sculpted from mythology, though.
That's true.
But he wasn't there when the other guy was. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe who knows? They might have said all sorts of things about him that we never see. Who knows?
All I know about him is that he thinks he's tall, and he's.
I think
not
he
the
is
tallest in the house.
objectively taller than many people.
Well, he thinks he's taller than G-Man.
I think he
Gimon.
is. That's the
I think
very
he is.
easy to
Yeah,
know.
that's all I know. I know he's taller than Gimon. That's all I know. All right, where are we at? Is there anything else from cooking?
Junsuk doesn't really have anything to do, but is just like enjoying spending her time hanging around.
Yeah, she's doing this like fake chopping thing. I don't know what she's. I am not much of a Junsuk fan by the end of this episode. Okay. I'm pretty out on her.
She seems like a woman on a mission. She's fairly zoomed in on this guy, and she's just going for it. And I respect the game.
I watched this episode like 4 days ago, but I just remember feeling that way. I'm sure we're gonna get to more things in my notes. Okay. I was like, I'm just not feeling this moment.
All right, then we got grocery shopping. You got grocery shopping notes?
Sure, yeah. They kind of like pair up when they're walking, right? Like Kyunghui and Jinhui are walking, and then Gimon and Yeonhwa are talking.
Mm-hmm. But then I think on the way back, maybe they swap.
The store.
Yeah.
Did they swap or?
Well, I wrote down that Jinhui and Yeonhwa bond over ice cream at the very least. So.
Yeah, Jinhui had a comment in his confessional where like he felt really connected to her because they both wanted to get ice cream or something.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
like ice. I think it was something specific about what it was. It was like an ice cream
Maybe the
pop
type of
or
ice cream
something.
or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
it was kind of lost in AI translation.
Yeah, yeah. But there's maybe a little something there, you know?
Yeah, so even though they were mostly from what we saw, they were walking in the pairs that we said. The biggest comment or reaction we got was from Jinhui and Yeonhua, which
Yeah.
they weren't walking with each other. But then they are going to
Right.
be, they're going to like lag behind later, is right?
Yeah, yeah.
Those
And
are the two that lag behind later, which is
yeah.
why probably we got them highlighted here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because so they return to the house, and everybody's like gets back to the house, but then they're like, I don't know what they were doing. They just end up being like way behind the group, right?
Yeah, well, that is
Oh
for
no,
a
that's
different walk
later. No,
after
that's
dinner.
totally
Yeah.
later. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, no,
yeah.
I'm getting lost. Okay, all right. Yeah, the shopping wasn't much of anything. I feel like this. I'll be honest. I can't remember the last time the grocery shopping was like felt meaningful at all.
Yeah.
Can you think of a time where the grocery shopping felt
Um,
meaningful?
I guess like what Heart Signal, that season you were talking about
I'm
just
sure the
now.
listeners can think of a time,
Yeah. No, it
but
was it Ji Young and
oh, it's Jiyoung and the guy that
and
she
Hyore or
ultimately
something?
chooses.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that for groceries though? Because they
I
just
feel
went
like it was
together. I guess it was for groceries. Why did they just
I
go
think it
the two of
was
them?
because they were
They
the
didn't
only
do the.
sober ones, or she was gonna
Oh
get
yeah,
something and he was sober or something. I don't know. At least it seemed like it was meaningful to him because it like drove so much of his pursuing of her. I feel like through the rest of the season.
yeah. Did that But they didn't do like the grocery teams where they like divide them in half though. For
Uh,
some reason, it was just like only those two went.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
I
remember.
don't
It's been
remember
a
either.
while.
I'll just say grocery shopping. Cooking has always been a big part of these shows.
Oh yeah.
Things go
I feel like
down in the
cooking
kitchen.
always gets us results. Grocery
Grocery store
shopping, not so
buying, not
much.
so much. I can't think of a time where it
Yeah.
was that significant.
So be on cooking team
Oh, you
because you
definitely want to
might
be on
get a
cooking
chance
team.
to feed somebody, and that always means something.
Absolutely, you want to be on cooking team. Yeah. All right. They get home, and then the food's ready to eat because they made the other food.
Yeah, which I think is a much better system than let's divide into two teams. One team sit here and do nothing for an hour, and then this is more efficient. I like it. Good job.
What I couldn't tell was like did production expect them to wait for the groceries to come back?
I
But
don't know.
then Bumchung just had the initiative to be like, I can make some great food with the stuff we already have
Yeah.
here. Or they just know like these people aren't going to stay up as late, so they were like, oh, we better have
Oh,
you
they
start
need to have
making the
their
food
like
earlier. Or
early
that
dinner.
yeah, they
Yeah,
had their early dinner. Yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
that's probably what it was.
It worked out
It
though.
was like yeah, it was like 1 p.m. and they were like, we better start making dinner.
And it does work out because like they get to go out like for an after dinner walk with everybody. The sun's still out, and
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was
it's probably summer too. But
summer, maybe not. I don't know. It depends on when they filmed the show, but yeah, it was still light out after dinner. So
mm-hmm.
I wrote down Bombchon is 6'2". I don't know who.
Oh, okay.
Somebody said that. Somebody said that as if like I assume like Bombchon told him their height, but we didn't get it directly from him.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this one they go for a walk. Sorry, didn't know anything from the actual dinner. I actually have nothing from this.
No,
Anything of
nothing.
significant? Yeah, that's kind
Yeah.
of surprising. I feel like something usually comes up.
Yeah,
Maybe not
nothing.
that significant though. Okay, group walk. He's 6'2".
They take a lot of pictures in an alleyway.
Yeah. So this is exactly like the other shows, right? Like they're
Yeah,
taking
yeah, yeah.
pictures of each other. I would have not have guessed that this was going to be a thing on the show, but it is.
And like Gaiman like takes pictures like he's dated an influencer, like
Yeah.
he knows to get at the right angles and takes really good pictures of people,
Yeah.
which
This is where he was showing
feels
up his
very
energy.
young show energy. Yeah.
This is where I wrote down he even seems the most energetic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So at this point, I was just like, well, this show's exactly the same as the young people shows. Like it doesn't. It's just like I couldn't even tell you like based on episode 1, I couldn't tell you which one was like better. It's just like I'd probably just watch the younger people because I identify with them better,
Yeah, yeah,
more
yeah.
than anything.
But we do have, again, uh we have like more, I would say, initiative from the older people. Like they go to the beach and Bum-chun like holds Junsuk's hand to help her get down from some rocks. And I think he even like tells her she's cute. And like you don't get any shit like that in the first episode of a younger person dating show.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. They're all like, I'm awkward. I can't touch anybody on TV. It's weird. I don't know.
I think there's always some people that are like that, but I feel like there's also people that are a little. Well, it depends on what show we're talking about, but certainly Singles Inferno season 3 people.
Well, yeah,
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 Singles
that's
Inferno is a
fair.
different beast
Yeah, it is
than
true.
these shows. This is more like
Not Netflix produced.
everyone but Singles Inferno. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then this is where Jinhui and Yeonhwa are lagging behind, right?
Yeah, on the way back. Yeah. It's like they're kind of walking together and then I think he's just like, I don't want to go back to the house yet. Come over here with me and they're like on a picnic bench like within like I like you could see them from the
They're not
house.
that far back. Yeah.
Yeah. So like everybody sees them just sitting there and is mostly confused.
Who interrupts them? Bumchung.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He goes over and he's like, "What you doing, guys?"
Yeah, because Bumchung's also Ian Yeonhwa, so
Yeah,
Bumchung's
yeah,
also
exactly.
yeah. Okay.
And then when they're leaving the picnic table, Bumchun holds her hand to help her get down some rocks. So he's just out here holding hands, getting people down off of rocks of the two women he's expressed interest in.
Yeah.
You know?
But Jinhui won this interaction because then he made the joke about like Bum Chung offering his hand to help him down the rocks.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was
because
pretty good.
he
Yeah,
had to go down the same rocks, but he didn't get a hand
exactly.
offered.
Hmm.
I thought Jinhui won this interaction, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty
Okay.
good.
All right, now it's nighttime. Doorbell rings again,
Yes,
right?
we get another letter,
Here we go.
but the letter is full of letters. And it's like, a letter has arrived for those looking for last love. Please come together and read the letter. And so these are all letters from their various family members, basically.
Yeah.
Kind of like wishing them well and whatever.
It's
And
like,
everybody cries.
yeah, it's like kind of introductions. Like this is even worse than X introductions on Transit Love, right? I'm not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, some people like the X introductions. I think I like really hate that segment on Transit Love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I was like a little bit curious because I kind of at some point in the show I kind of realized like, oh, what I really want to know about these people is like, what's their dating history?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what are they divorced? Did they
You
like
don't
how long have they
exactly
been?
get
Yeah,
that,
we don't
but
get it
you
as
do
much as I
get,
thought we were going to.
yeah, you
Yeah,
get letters from children, which implies something, but we don't get any sort of like hard and fast, like this person is a widow, this person is divorced, or whatever. And
yeah.
there are like one or two people that get letters from siblings, which maybe implies that they don't have kids,
No
or at least their
children.
kids don't
Yeah,
want to write them letters.
I thought about that, but yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Yeah,
But even like the nature of the letters are less like written to introduce them and seem more like just a direct letter to the person, which is less helpful.
it's where it gets very wonky with the AI translation. And I got a little
Yeah.
bit lost, but overall, not super interesting. Like we could say
Yeah.
who wrote the letter to them,
Yeah, and basically
and
they're all like, you've been a good parent to me, or you've been a good sibling to me. Now is time to worry about yourself and take care of yourself and have a happy time,
yeah,
basically.
we can go through Unji. Like Unji's from
Yeah.
her daughter. She raised her
Mm-hmm.
daughter alone. Is about what
Is
I
the
gathered.
Yeah. I think we also find out that her daughter might be in middle school.
Oh wow, okay. Oh, that's for Unji, because that's pretty.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's pretty young, but again, maybe the translation was a
all
little
right,
weird.
my son
But
will
yeah.
be. Well, my son's in middle school. I will be 39.
Yeah, that's a
39
lot
to
younger.
42. So maybe she. I mean,
Mm,
people have kids when they're.
they could,
I had a kid at.
she could have had kids when she's
Yeah,
older, yeah.
I had a kid at 29. That's not early, but
Yeah, but I
some people are
think
later.
I don't know how I feel like the like people getting married and having kids in Korea average age is a little on the older side too.
Yeah. Also,
So I don't know.
potentially the AI translator was wrong. So I don't
Yeah,
know
also
either.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to say.
Yeah. She could be. Maybe she's significantly younger. We don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
But she could
It,
be.
it is more of a case for she's probably maybe not quite 50 yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Who else? Jinhui is his sister, I believe.
Yes.
Kyunghui is her daughter
Her daughter who is studying in New York.
in New York. Yeah. Dad left a picture at some point.
Yes.
Not sure when. Jae-woo has 2 daughters, and this is
Yes.
from one of his daughters.
Potentially.
And then this is the only one that was a little bit weird. Like tell me if any. Again, this is I got lost a little bit, but it sounded like
Yeah,
he
the translation was
works.
rough.
He works a lot, and as he works with his hands, probably like mechanic or something. And he didn't spend a lot of time with his daughters. Is a thing that I thought I picked up on. Maybe.
Yeah. It was like either he didn't spend a lot of time with them or they are sad that maybe he goes home alone after having worked a lot because maybe they live
Oh,
with the mom.
maybe
Like
that's what it
I was
was.
going back and forth between the two of these, but then like after he reads it, he talks to everybody about it sounds like he thinks he wasn't a good dad and he wasn't sure if his daughters wanted him on the show or not.
Yeah, that's what I wrote. Like his daughters didn't think it was a good idea to come on the show, but now that he's on the show, they're like writing a letter and saying that they're like proud of him, so that it like
Yeah.
was meaningful to him because of that they like
Right.
showed support even though they initially didn't, or something. I don't know. I got very confused
Yeah.
on the AI pronouns at this point.
Yeah, yeah. But all I know is that he cried a lot, and maybe things
Everybody
with his
cried.
daughters are complicated.
Everybody cried
Yeah.
significantly, and these are letters from loved ones that they theoretically
Yeah, like
only
these are
been
just like,
gone
hey, yeah, they've been gone a
maybe a
day.
week. I don't know how long it takes to get this ready
Well,
on
okay, some of
Jeju,
them
but
have children overseas.
yeah.
That's all I got for you.
But I guess,
Everybody else, I'm not quite sure why we're crying so much.
and we
But I
do
don't
know
know.
that they can't use phones, so
Oh, that's true. They're
so
too
I
old to
guess
use
yeah. If
phones.
you can't use
It's probably been a
phones,
long time since the horses last brought a letter. So
you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
make
yeah. You're
calls or
right.
texts, and you
Mm-hmm.
only get letters. You're probably not getting them very often. So
That
okay,
is
I buy
true.
it. I
Yeah,
buy it.
yeah. All right. I take it all back. It makes sense. I haven't heard from them in years.
Uh, Younghwa is her sister.
Yes. And her sister, like, kind of does it well where she kind of is like, hey, everybody, my sister is awesome. It is more of an introductory letter in that way. Like, she seems to know what the letter's for and is wingmanning her sister a little bit.
Giman is it's from his sister.
Mm-hmm.
Junsuk, it's from her son. So I think it's maybe the only male sendee.
Oh, yeah.
All daughters and sisters, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Junsuk raised her son alone.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. And then Bomchan's daughter is the one that is vegan.
And he cries a lot because it is in Korean, but she doesn't know Korean well, but like put the effort into putting it in Korean or something.
Yeah, okay. And he was a single dad. So it's a mix of
Well, I have
does it say
more
single dad?
information about him that we're gonna have to go through in a minute.
How do you have
But
more information? Is it outside the show?
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
There's a thing. I don't know how. We're
How'd
almost at the end.
How'd you get to this?
I was Googling to figure out how somebody spelled their name,
Okay.
and I found some information.
Okay. He was giving me
Well,
weird vibes.
yeah.
By
I
the
mean,
end
we
of
could
this.
just get into
Okay.
it now because basically this is the end of the
Yeah,
episode.
doorbell rings. They're gonna do texting letters.
Mm-hmm. But
But
that's not in this episode. That's
we
in
don't
the
see
next
it.
one. We didn't watch it yet, but
Okay. Yeah, hit
we
me
can
with
imagine how that's gonna go.
hit me with the Bombchon stuff.
Okay, so the show came out, like the first episode came out, and then suddenly people on the internet are interneting, and there was like, I think it was in an online community for US based Koreans, people started talking shit. They're like, I know that guy, and he was married in Korea, left, just abandoned his wife, came to the US, married another woman, had a kid with her, and then when that woman found out about his Korean wife, she left him. And then he got married again and is maybe still married now, but has left the US and come back to Korea and is on the show now.
Oh,
So
he got married again. He got married a third time in the US.
yeah, so
Then
he
went to Korea.
may still be married. At the very least, they're saying his first wife he just kind of abandoned, and that's what they say.
That sounds like a honest and romantic love story. That's what I'm talking about.
So then the makers of the show have been like, all right, we're gonna edit him out of the rest of the show. And I'm like, how do you do that when it seems like half of the female participants are into this man in the first episode?
Oh,
So
that's
I don't
doable.
know.
Don't worry about that. They'll
I
figure
don't
it
know
out.
what the rest of this show looks like, but there's probably a lot less of Bum Chum in
Okay.
there.
All right. I'm not that surprised. I got weird vibes by the end of it. I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
this isn't my guy. Well, it's hard to say like, oh, I'm not surprised that he married somebody, left the country, married another person, divorced, married the other person. Wouldn't have seen all that, but
I mean,
um
when I went back through our notes and I got to the part where they're like, "Who left the best impression?" and he's already like, "Well, these two women." And this is after having read the stuff. I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. He's the only one that couldn't just choose one." Okay, sure, but whatever.
okay. Well, that's a little harsh.
Yeah.
It's
But I mean, it's just you go back through something with a little bit of different context. Sometimes it just hits a little different.
okay.
So I don't know the truth of whatever happened with this man, but enough controversy has happened that they are theoretically edited him out of
Are you
the
gonna
rest of the
watch?
show. As much as
Are you gonna watch
I
the
don't
rest
know
of
that I'm
this?
gonna watch the rest of this, just because like the translation situation is difficult. Like who knows how well the AI translations stand up for the rest of it, and
Did anybody? Did
I don't
you
know.
did you cling on to anybody's story in
Um,
episode one? I really
Not
didn't. If I had to watch
particularly.
it, I'd be kind of paying attention to Unji. But yeah, there's not much
Yeah,
of a. I just the identifying with the participants is missing pretty
yeah,
much
that's
because
fair.
the age.
I don't even know that I'm gonna ascribe it to age. I think like there could be other people on this show, and it would hit different for me. Just this particular group, nobody really. I think if I was gonna keep watching it, I'd be out here rooting for Keeman, who is our youngest guy, and I'm just like on some
Really?
show it's got to work for the youngest guy somewhere.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you can just look up the results to see if it.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Right.
But
Is the show
yeah, I don't
still
know that I'm gonna
on?
keep
Is it still
watching it.
going? What's the status of the show?
That's a good question.
I think it is it 10 episodes?
I think it's probably finished. I feel like it started airing in like August or something.
It might have like one episode left. But yeah, it is very recent show, which is why you
Yeah.
found it, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. My notes I wrote down after was just like besides the highlighting of like them being old, it's pretty much I mean, the behavior is I would say is very much the same as the 20-30-year-old shows. Like they're talking about MBTI. I still thought there was like that awkwardness and then that almost like young love childlike vibe of the people that are like really into the show that
Mm-hmm.
they're like flirting like in a way that I assume they like wouldn't necessarily they weren't behaving in the way they would like normally behave with like in their daily lives like they're feeling the situation that the show is putting them in the same
Yeah,
way
yeah.
as the 20 to
Mm-hmm.
30 year olds but yeah it's more likely that I'm going to be able to like identify with somebody's story when they're in their 20 to 30s than I am with like somebody that's in their 50s.
Yeah. Makes
Where
sense.
like it doesn't do anything for me from like a story perspective that like oh this person was like an only like or like a what do they call it?
A single
A
parent?
single parent, yeah, single parent. Like
That doesn't do
it
anything
doesn't
for
it
you?
doesn't add to the romantic aspect of the TV show to me that like I don't identify with them in a special way that makes me want to root for them necessarily just
Um,
because of that. It's
hmm.
it's different, and if you do identify with that story or you have a similar life experience, you're gonna like this because it's you know
See, I don't think I need to identify with anybody for it to be like I just need something to latch onto like story-wise, and I just didn't get that so far. But like my closest example in like of a drama that I really like is love is a or romance is a something book. Romance is a dang it. It's about books.
okay.
A bonus book. Romance is a bonus book, and it's like sort of like like slightly older than your average Korean drama lead woman is like a single mom and going through rough times, and then like gets up off of her she like loses a job but like finds a job and like falls in love with this like slightly younger guy and like I don't know I really love that and I don't identify with the struggles of a single mom or any of that stuff, but like, I don't know. I really liked it.
Okay.
And so, I don't know. I don't need this person like has a similar situation to me or anything like that I don't need to
I'm not
identify
saying
with
I need
anybody.
it. I'm just saying if I have to compare the shows,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm going to recommend or say I'm going to like the 20 to 30 year old.
Mm.
show better.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just this group of people didn't latch on in the same way that other seasons of similar shows for younger people didn't necessarily catch my attention, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So like in 16 years though, when they're making Last Love 17,
Uh-huh,
we'll
yeah,
check
yeah.
it out when we're both in our 50s and see if we
Okay,
like it
okay.
more.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I feel like when I'm 50, I'm gonna still be like, nah, I'm still 20 to 30s. I do think there is something about and again could be it's it's correlated to age based on like life experience you might have gone through, right? But like
Mhm.
I do think the young love aspect of the 20 to 30 shows is what makes it fun. Like I remember those feelings, when I was
Oh,
younger,
yeah.
and that's what I'm identifying with them more than anything. Is like, oh, I remember that feeling,
Okay.
as opposed to like, oh, I identified with the guys in their like low 30s because they're the closest to my age. It's not really that. It's like it's just
Mhm.
the idea of there being young love or whatever. Whereas like I don't know. I don't identify I don't identify with like the life experience of like, oh, I've married like multiple times or once or multiple
Yeah,
times
yeah.
and now I'm trying to move on to like a second love or a last love or whatever this is. Like the
Right.
first love is the experience that I can identify with. So
Right, right. Okay.
that's more where it's coming from than really like saying like it's because they're old, but it just kind of it just goes in line with the fact the
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
the
I see what you're
idea is
saying.
that they loved him before, right? And
Mhm.
like is anybody on this like I assume everybody on this show has been married, but maybe that's not true. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Hard to say.
Is any are any of these people's last love going to be their first love on this show?
Maybe. It's possible, you know?
It's possible. Okay. That would be fun. That would be kind of cool if like two of these people like never got married or never were in a serious relationship and then they
Uh-huh.
somehow connect on this show. Now that would be kind of exciting.
You need two people who are having a fresh start. It can't
I
just
could
be
I
like
could maybe get
one
into
of
one, but
them
I'm
and
saying
the
like
other.
two people
Yeah,
would
well,
be
that
like,
would
oh
be
yeah.
like,
Now we're
yeah,
basically
yeah.
watching the 20 to 30-year-olds at this point. That's exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Anything else from Last Love?
I think that's it. We talked
All right, we
about the
did it.
weird controversy, so that was all I extra thing I had in my
That's
pocket.
all you have. Okay.
Yep, yep.
All right. Yeah, we haven't dipped back into the Korean dating scene in a while. Were you itching to get back into this, or what?
I
What made
just
you want to
figured
watch? Should we watch
I
the
didn't have
divorce
any
show?
better ideas, and I thought our listeners might like it. You
Do we need
know,
to watch the divorce people show now?
I mean, sure, why not? I don't have a better idea of what I need to pick next. You know.
Oh, it just went on Netflix. Arcane season 2 starts November 9th. Okay, that's
Oh,
now I'm looking
that I'm
forward to
looking
that.
forward to that. Yeah.
That's fun. Okay. Divorce. What is it? It's called like Love After Divorce. That's gotta be
Oh,
it.
that sounds right.
We watch this. It's got 4 seasons. Jesus.
4 seasons.
All right, let's watch season 4. We can skip this, right? We don't have to watch the. I'm assuming season 4 has got to be the best of the. Wait, when is it? Holy.
Maybe.
Wait, is there 4? Oh, they only have season 4 on Netflix. So maybe
Well,
this
then
is
I
a.
guess that's what we would watch.
Okay. Well, we'll have to do more research. Well, you can pick that when it's your turn next time. I'm gonna pick. I want to check out this show called The Summit,
Okay, tell me
which
about
is
the
on
summit.
CBS/Paramount Plus. 16 strangers trek the New Zealand Alps with $1 million each, facing extreme challenges and brutal twists. That's about as much as I know. I don't. Are they like? I think they're like they have backpacks and they're like carrying
Their backpacks full of money.
full of, I assume fake money, but the
Mm.
weight of whatever $1 million would feel like. I'm sure they have other supplies. It looks like they're legitimately climbing to some aspect. The only clip I've seen of this show is like it seemed like a guy like won a reward or won power in the game, and he had to like again. This is the equivalent of my Agatha speculation. None of this could be true, but the vibe I got was like he had to like eliminate somebody by like they were all gonna cross this bridge, and then after everybody crossed the bridge, when there was one person left, he had to like chop the bridge down so the last person couldn't come, had to be left behind, and so he,
Oh,
he had to like
jeez.
socially figure out how to like get whichever person he wanted to like
But
cross the
does
bridge
that
last. I don't know. I really don't
does
know
that
anything.
mean that $1 million is on the other side of the bridge?
Well, I don't think I don't. I It's probably you win by being like the one to reach the summit, and it's like how much money you have left. But I don't know if you can lose the money along the way, or it's just everybody. I don't know. I
Well,
assume there's going to be some interesting things. Well, in one episode, hopefully we get at least the gist of the show. But I'm excited to check it out.
I looked it up, and if your $1 million is in $100 bills, it is about 22 pounds. So there you go.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to look up something about the show. No, you just looked up the $100
Yeah, yeah.
bills.
I was
Yeah.
just like, how much does it weigh?
I doubt the show is like, oh, people have to decide between carrying the money or and like advancing, or it's.
I kind of want that to be the thing.
I thought maybe somehow people could bargain with their money, or maybe I don't know. But it's an elimination style show. I don't know if it's like Amazing Race style, where it's like the last person to check in.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be checkpoints along the summit climb. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But at first, I didn't think it was like a social game, and then I watched a clip, and I was like, "Oh, maybe this is a social game." So I'm intrigued. That's what I'm gonna choose.
Okay,
The
we'll
Summit
find out.
next time.
Sounds good.
Whenever we can watch.
What'd you say it's on?
Paramount Plus.
Okay.
I think it's only 4 episodes deep as of now, but it might only be like a 7-episode show. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
close to being done. It's probably coming out once a week right now. So
Yeah. Cool.
yeah,
Sounds good.
that's my pick. All right, Sarah, where can people contact us?
People can email us at keepwatchingpod@gmail.com. Tweet at us at keepwatchingpod. Instagram at us at keepwatchingpod, or leave a comment under this video on YouTube also at keepwatchingpod. And you can leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or if you're feeling old, you can write us a physical letter, but we don't have a mailing address, so it won't go anywhere. But I don't know. Something about old people writing letters is what I got.
An email would be pretty wild. I feel like we got an
We've
email like
gotten
one
emails
time.
before. Yeah,
At least,
yeah. Like once or
one I can think of.
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they could have been super old. We don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
It was probably about Singles Inferno. I think old people watch Singles Inferno. These people probably watch Singles Inferno that were on this show.
I feel like everybody watched Singles Inferno. It was very popular.
Yeah.
Well, regardless of your age, you can contact us however you like. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And
if we offended you as an old person, let us know.
Yeah, yeah. Is it worse to be called old
or
hot dummy?
That's the real comment prod. Who was more offensive to Jin? Was it Jinhui or Jaewoo? It was Jaewoo, right?
I think it was Jaewoo. Yeah,
yeah, Jaewoo. Yeah. Is it more offensive to call a 60-year-old man old or stupid?
Hot dummy. I think there's a difference between calling him stupid and calling him a hot dummy.
All right. I'll let
or
you
a dumb hottie or whatever I said.
All right. Tell us which is more offensive. That's the real prompt.
Yeah. Which would you rather be?
All right. Well, no, it's not which would you rather be. It's specifically to the 60-year-old man we're talking about. We're not talking about if you called me. Oh wait, I don't know if you called me old or if for me I would be offended if you called me old.
Okay.
I would also be offended if you called me a hot dummy, but yeah, at least you put the word hot in there.
Exactly.
But
it can't be that
if
bad.
I was
also
60 years
hot.
old, if I was 6 years old, I would not be offended if you called me old. So,
but wouldn't you extra be happy somebody called you a hottie?
I would still be offended if you called me dumb when I'm 60 years old. I'd be like, unless I got to 60 and I felt stupider. But imagine, assuming I keep relatively the same mental capacity, I would be offended if you called me dumb in any way, shape, or form. Just because I couldn't, I missed, wasn't able to open a whatever it was.
And he missed a house. He missed a house. Just little things that aren't really significant.
The man was born yesterday. What an idiot. What an idiot. Doesn't know where houses are. And he never seen a vegetable in his life. What an idiot.
Just, I've called other people hot dummies and it's not gotten this response before.
Well,
all right, let us know.
The other people didn't have an excuse that they were old.
Okay.
They were just like, I'm a thriving 20-year-old and I made this mistake. All right.
Yeah, okay. We're going to leave it go now.
All right. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.